All right, my guest today is Ray Higdon. Ray is the co-founder of the Higdon Group, a coaching and training company for network marketers that has been on the Inc. 5000 list and last month was recognized by Entrepreneur on their Entrepreneur 360 list for innovation, impact, and growth. We're all about growth here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ray has shared the stage with Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Gary Vaynerchuk, and many more of today's thought leaders around sales, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Ray and his wife Jessica are former #1 income earners that now share their social media and offline strategies around the world to network marketers at all levels. Ray Higdon, welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Do it.
So what is network marketing?
So network marketing is just an infrastructure that allows everyday ordinary people to start a business for very low risk and low overhead and get paid to promote a product or a service that helps others.
Okay. So what were you doing before network marketing, before you got into network marketing? When was that?
Yeah, so I had dabbled in network marketing for a few years, but my main focus was real estate. So I was a real estate investor from 2004 to 2008, 2009. And when the market crashed, I got wiped out and decided to get serious about network marketing.
What did it look like when everything was wiped out for you? How bad did things get?
Let's see, I went through a divorce. I was $1 million in debt. I was...
$1 million?
Yeah. And, me and a buddy had bought different rental properties and had, taken out home equity and things like that. Went through personal foreclosure. At one point was living on my buddy's couch. So it wasn't too pretty.
Really?
Chased by bill collectors. I'd have to look out my Venetian blinds to see if the guy had a clipboard knocking at my door. And if he did, then I just didn't answer because I didn't have any money.
What powered you through that time period?
What stumbled me through for a year was liquor. I was getting blackout drunk multiple times a week.
Really?
And it was, I didn't know what I was going to do. And so just wasn't the ideal human back then. And I got, actually what helped with turning things around was I actually got reconnected with my dad, which I didn't have any association would actually turn things around, but I hadn't talked to him in 13 years and reconnected with him. And I came back from visiting him in Indiana, and there was something that changed within me that made me want to get out of my situation. And so I went after it.
And so what was the climb back up look like? How did you get back on your feet?
Yeah, I read a book called Go for No, and I incorporated that with video marketing. And so I started doing 1 to 2 videos a day, which I've actually kept up for 9.5 years. And
that's a lot. That's a lot of videos, man. I just got into the video game.
Yeah,
because I had a fear of getting in front on camera.
Yeah. And I'd also, from reading that book, Go for No, I decided that I was just going to go for 20 no's a day. So every day I was really doing 3 things. 1, 20 no's a day before my head hit the pillow. At least 1 video, but often more than 1. And just working on myself. So self-development, like either a book or, going through a course or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get into then network marketing? Where does your path go from there?
A friend of mine who didn't know the situation that I was in invited me to a home meeting, like many network marketing stories start, which I had actually sworn off of network marketing. I actually didn't want to do it because I'd had some bad experiences with uplines. And, because I understand marketing, and I was doing marketing kind of stuff that maybe didn't fit the mold and they didn't like it. And so I just had some bad run-ins with uplines and things like that. And so I'd sworn off it, but at this point I'm dead broke, my credit's shot. I didn't want to go back to a job. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make this thing work.
Mm-hmm. So then you get into a network marketing company. What was the first one?
Well, I had been in network marketing in the past over, just kind of dabbling because I was actually focused more on real estate. But in 2009, I got into a company that its product was gold and silver graded coins, and which was a little different, different than juice or shakes or whatever. And I liked the idea, and so I ran with that company.
So wait, when you were dabbling with it though, back earlier, when it was more part-time, were you making money from it?
Yeah, some. I mean, not crushing it. I was good at sales, but I didn't understand duplication. I'd had a pretty vast background in sales, and so I made some sales. I got some recruits. I got fortunate. I had some duplication, not a lot. I didn't understand how to get massive duplication, and so that's where you make the good money in network marketing is understanding duplication.
So what do you mean by duplication?
Duplication, just getting other people to do what you're doing and having it so simple that anyone at any education level or knowledge level can do the steps to create income and impact in that company.
Yeah, making it really simple.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I read on your About page, and after, I'm butchering the numbers a little bit, but it's relatively accurate, and you can correct me. After 5 months, you were making like $50,000 per month, right?
A little different. So my 5th month was my first $10,000 month.
Okay.
7 months, $40,000. 10 months, $50,000. Became the number one income earner in that company, and that was back in 2010.
How does that happen? Such a quick ascension.
Obviously results vary. Because if you look at my story, I was a full-time entrepreneur since April of 2005. And so, that was quite a few years of actually being in the game of being an entrepreneur and a foreclosure before I made it in network marketing. So some people would see it in 5 months. Oh my God, that's amazing. I had been self-reliant for quite a while. I was, being an entrepreneur full time, mainly with real estate, but, it's just massive numbers. I mean, I tell people have a daily routine that makes success inevitable, and no one's ever surprised. Oh, you got 20 no's a day, a video a day, and you did self-development every day and that worked. Wow, that's shocking. No one's shocked by that. It's if anybody does that, they will create success. Now, it'll vary on when that happens. And, sometimes timing can help. Sometimes you get a lucky break with someone you bring in. I know my 5th month, I got a really good guy in that came in and crushed it. And so, luck kind of favors those who show up all the time.
Yeah, that's so funny. I mean, as I had mentioned earlier, I just got into video very recently, only 2-3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And, it has changed everything. I've been doing pretty much a video a day. The other day I did 4.
Nice.
On, I guess it was like Saturday.
Yeah.
But pretty much what's happened is my bad videos, my worst videos now get 5,000 views.
Nice.
And it's
That's awesome.
It has changed everything.
Nice.
I can, showing up every single day for years on end, what that would do. I mean, it's not shocking.
Right.
It's not shocking.
It's not a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, it's something I say all the time. Show up every single day and watch what happens.
Yeah.
You'd be shocked at me, because some people, it's like, they don't take it seriously.
No, they don't. They treat it like a hobby, but they want money, but they treat it like a hobby and do it haphazardly. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'll do it working 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
At least in the beginning, you definitely got to hustle. I think
it just depends on your goals. If you have big goals, then, it's just like if you have big fitness goals, should you go to the gym often? Yeah. If you don't have big fitness goals, then go whenever you want.
Sure. Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Do videos whenever you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I think there does come a point though, where you optimize and, because we always hear the 4-hour work week, right?
Sure.
There does come a point where you have the systems in place and the process is developed where maybe you are now, where you're probably working a little bit less than you were maybe 10 years ago. Is that fair? Are you working less now?
It's different. I wouldn't say less. It's different because, if one of the things that drives me is impact. How do I make a bigger impact? And so I am in some ways hungrier than I was 10 years ago. And so we are, showing up in different ways. So in the past, I mean, my first 6 months, I never had a 5,000 view video. No way.
Really?
I maybe was getting 30, 50, 100 views. I just didn't care. And now, it's different. There are days where I'm on, 6 different lives in 6 different groups ranging from 10,000 to 50,000 people in the group. And so, there are some days we're getting tens of thousands of views. And then other days where it's nowhere near that, but it's just a different level of hunger. So we have some things, for example, our, content strategy is very systemized. But there's other things that, we're working even harder at.
Yeah. Now, this is 100% going to change by the time this comes out. I've still not done a live video. What was your first one?
Well, I had been doing a video a day for quite a few years before live even existed.
Yeah, different dynamic though.
Yeah, it is. You do it, you upload it, you hope for the best. And so my very first, I think you're saying video, was pretty terrible. So I had a background in speaking. So at one point I was 22 days a month, Vegas, Chicago, Phoenix, Miami, LA, selling a $7,000 system and a 90-minute pitch to a cold audience. And so I was very used to pitching and speaking and things like that, but I wasn't used to video. And so the first video I did, I thought you had to impress people, right? So I got on a suit and I got a tie, and I didn't want to blow it. So I had a script, and I had a script taped to the back of the computer. And so the whole time I'm looking at the script, the camera's here, and I think I do a good job. I sent it to my buddy Robert, and I'm like, hey man, what do you think of this? And he's like, OMG, LOL, you should totally post it. I'm like, oh. OMG. He thought it was hilarious. And so I had to just keep working and calm down and not be so weird on video. But, eventually we got there.
Yeah. No, when I was, starting out back in the day 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So long ago, yeah.
I'd have like we have here with a table here.
Yeah.
That's out of the camera.
Yeah.
It was, just a note card
Sure.
with bullet points.
Sure.
There, which is great. A crutch is great in the beginning if it's going to get you to feel more comfortable and actually take action rather than doing nothing at all.
And most people really don't care, sometimes I'll go to an event and I'll say, hey guys, I'm reading from my notes. And I'm like, hey, day 1, I learned this, this, and this. Day 2, I learned this. And so I found that people don't really care that much. Right. If you're not trying to fake it like you're perfect, it's actually better to be vulnerable. And so, that's my advice.
I've been finding, instead of trying to be perfect, you see the meme videos, right?
Sure.
The very highly edited ones.
Sure.
I'm finding that my unedited, raw, vertical videos are doing so much better than my touched up videos with a transcript even below it. I think, here we are in 2019, maybe the stimuli is becoming saturated with done up videos that are too perfect. What do you think?
We've never noticed a huge difference between highly edited, amazing, and raw as far as views and long-term kind of consumption. So, it's, I think a mix of both is great if you can, but the most important that trumps all of them is just doing it and being consistent. So I would say consistency beats all that stuff. Some people they'll wait for years to learn how to perfectly edit the video and all that stuff, and so they don't do anything, so no one's impacted. And so that's not good.
Yeah, that was my excuse. It was I don't know.
It's not as good.
Right, I don't know. What about this? What about this camera? What about... should I get a microphone? And I was thinking too much. I overthought it and blew it for 2.5 years until finally a couple of accountability partners essentially forced me to do it. And,
good.
And thank God.
You need partners like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Shout out to Heather Monahan and Dennis Yu. Dennis Yu, the Facebook king, the Facebook ad king. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but should definitely come in contact with him. But anyway, that's why I'm in video. So back to network marketing, when you're starting to get serious about it, correct me if I'm wrong, from 06 to 09, were you in 11 companies?
Yeah, I was in a bunch of different companies. And again, that can be a little misleading because they weren't my full-time endeavors. Some I did spend more time on than others. But I didn't understand. I was treating network marketing like like a lot of marketers treat it like it's a transaction. And so it's like, oh, you don't want this, you want this. And so it's
transactional networking.
Yeah,
transactional relationships.
which is, I mean, transaction is how most internet marketers operate and how most salespeople operate. It's just not the only element to network marketing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you were bouncing around for clarify just for me the reason on the bouncing around.
Because I was treating it like sales, like if I want to sell travel, I'll just sell this one. If I want to sell weight loss, I can sell this one. If I want to sell this one, I can sell this one. And so, like maybe an affiliate marketer or an online marketer of having options that you monetize, and that's not where the money is. You know, if you're going to do that sort of thing, then just be an affiliate marketer. But if you want to build residual income that comes in whether you roll over in bed or out of bed, then you need to build a culture that people plug into, like a community, and that's what will create much more residual income than you just selling someone here and there.
So that was the switch, creating more of a community that people plugged into.
Yeah, and understanding and learning culture and duplication.
Right. So what was what's like your favorite part about being in a multi-level marketing company?
Well, we did retire from actively building the team, so we now coach and train. Right. But the favorite part was definitely the team. Just team events. We had pool parties, barbecues, we had cruises. I remember one point we had 250 of our team had won a cruise, and so just imagine being on a 7-day cruise with 250 close friends. It was awesome. We dominated the dance floor. It was great. And so like just the camaraderie of being around a lot of cool people that are uplifting, that are positive minded, that are, wanting to make a difference. And, they're all at different levels, but they're all marching toward a similar goal.
What was your least favorite part, say? Because, not everything is not sunshine and rainbows.
Oh, no.
What's the least favorite part of being in MLM, if there is any?
I would say that because of its low barrier to entry, you get a lot of people that don't understand business, and they just kind of, come in expecting to get, expecting like a scratch off lottery ticket or something like that. And so just always enforcing that kind of thing. Like, network marketing is the lowest risk, lowest overhead way for the average ordinary person to start a business. Sometimes I wish that it was a little bit more to join so that, fewer of the people seeking a lottery ticket, just wouldn't join. And, but, that's probably the it's like the best, but also the worst thing is, if you want to start a restaurant, you're going to have a couple $100,000, period. You have to. And you have to be pretty serious to put that kind of money in. For most network marketing companies, you're starting for a few $100. So a lot of people treat it like that and don't take it seriously, but they expect serious returns. Okay.
So yeah, where else do they go wrong? Is there, they expect serious returns without putting in the work, but like, is there a specific trend that you see them acting like on social media? Because I know I see a lot of like Instagram stories. It's like constant ask,
sure.
ask, right hook.
Sure.
No jabs,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is that a prominent issue that you see as well?
For sure. We teach don't lead with the company name or the product name, and understand positioning. And so, spamming is assuming the position of someone without identification. And so, you don't walk up to someone and say, hey, let's get married, right? You ask them a couple questions first. And so, we teach through like our 14-day challenge and different, marketing, strategies. We teach how to lead with value, how to create curiosity in conversations so that you can then see if they're open to what you have. And if they're not, move on, no big deal. But it's definitely something that we work to eradicate. 30 years ago, before the internet, the worst networker just upset a few people in their town. Now the worst networker is seen all over Instagram, and thousands of people see this terrible networker and think that's what's being taught, which unfortunately some do teach that, but that's not what we teach.
Yeah. Along the lines of getting married, I always liken it to, and I've posted about this on LinkedIn before, and this does not apply just to network marketing. This is every industry.
Sure.
This is universal, where people will come in with the first message and ask a cold hard sell on the first message, and I liken it to, you know, asking your date after the first impression if they want to sleep with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, but the allure of potentially skipping all the hard work and getting that yes is like, it's a sexy thing to think about. Right?
Well,
but it doesn't work.
Yeah, you know, and there's a distinction in that. So because there are ways to get to the point, and there's also, most people, I would guess 80%, don't understand how to build rapport. And so they're either going to stay in the friend zone forever, not going to reach out to people ever, or, you know, there's a small percentage of them that just understand how many times to talk to them and then get to the point. And so I teach it, I should say, a little bit differently. So you're in, where do you live?
I live right in Estero, actually,
Estero.
like 10 minutes away from here.
So if you know, let's say I don't know you, and I see you on Facebook, and I see you're positive, and you know, you got Growth University and rocking it out, and so let's say I wanted to reach out to you. Well, when people reach out to me and I don't know them, and they're like, hey, nice profile, or oh, you have a beautiful family, or whatever the standard rapport building stuff is, I'm busy. I'm just like, okay, what do you want? How can I help you? Right? So I'm just like, you know, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
right?
I do that.
And so if I reach out to you, I would just say, hey man, I saw your profile. It looks awesome. I know we don't know each other at all. I see you're in Estero. I'm looking to expand in Estero. Would you be open to taking a look at what it is that I'm doing? If not, no big deal. And so the three main elements is, the elephant in the room is we don't know each other. Number two, are you open, not interested? Because I don't know if you're interested. And number three, if you're not open, totally cool. Now you can say no big deal. And at that point, I'll actually build rapport. Well, cool. How long have you been doing what you're doing? You already know what I was reaching out to you for. So you're not like, what's this guy want? And I've gotten to the point very quickly. Now that will get me not a sale, because I'm not asking for a credit card. I'm saying, are you open to taking a look? Mm-hmm. And so I've gotten a lot of people that would say, well, yeah, tell me more, you know, and then some people say no, but I'll build rapport after. And then later on they say, hey, what was that thing that you talked to me about? And so that's a lot simpler to get thousands and thousands of people duplicating than it is, you know, being just, hey, here's my sign up link, you know, join, you know, that is terrible. Or playing the whole, you know, footsies rapport game that most people aren't very good at.
Yeah. I find that, you know, more successful people that are more respectful of their time, as you had alluded to earlier, like if you were to message me like that, and people message me like that all the time, like trying to like, hey, how are you? And I'm just like, I'm literally just like, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's like it's a delicate balance.
It is.
It's a delicate balance for sure.
It is.
So you transitioned from being in a multi-level marketing company yourself to training people in these companies. Yeah. But now you're not affiliated with one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to make that change?
It was a tough decision. You know, we loved our team, we loved the space, and you know, we really didn't intend to build a coaching and training business. You know, we were building on social media before hardly anyone was teaching on it. And so like, you know, nowadays pretty much everyone teaches social media, but you know, 11 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, that just wasn't happening, at least for network marketing. Not many people were teaching it, and nobody was teaching it effectively. People were selling courses, but they had never actually built a team. And so when we started doing it, and people started seeing, wow, he's actually getting duplication, and my wife too was getting duplication. How are you doing that? Can you teach me that? Can you teach my team that? And so we started doing that kind of thing here and there, and it just really took off. And so we realized that we were splitting our time between, you know, doing what we're doing with the team and coaching and training. And there's always a limit to that, because, you know, in our space, if you are building a team, some companies, some leaders, they will never promote you if you're coaching and training. And so, you know, we made the tough decision. We sold our position in network marketing, and decided to focus on coaching training back in 2016. So about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And
right when I got here, right when I started
focused.
hearing about you too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we just now we speak at a lot of different company events. We work with a lot of different leaders, and we help network marketers in all different companies. Mm-hmm. And there's no even perceived conflict from anybody.
Yeah. Well, I really respect the fact that you branched out and created your own company. I'm really impressed by how far you've come.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I've been watching from afar for a couple of years now. I've been hearing about you, and I'm like, all right. I keep saying I'm going to reach out to this guy.
Yeah. Awesome.
But here,
glad you did.
Here we are.
For sure.
So, is there an incentive though to recruit people into these companies?
Me personally?
No.
Or what do you mean?
In MLMs in general, is there an incentive to recruit and have people under you? Or
legally, you're not compensated unless you're moving product or service like memberships or whatever. So you have to be moving product volume or actual service. As far as the incentive is, the more when you bring people in that want to build it as a business, you have the possibility of more volume being moved that you may not be associated with. Right. So one example would be we brought in someone, locally that had a friend over in Sacramento, and, that person in Sacramento had a long history with network marketing, and they brought in thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I never would have met that person, had I not brought this person in locally. And that kind of thing, happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And so if you're in, some people, they don't want to build a team and they just have customers, and that's fine. If you want residual income not based on your efforts, then that is one way to do it, is to recruit people, teach them how to do the business, and move more volume.
When people say, is it a pyramid scheme? Mm-hmm. What does that make you think?
It's just ignorance. A pyramid is when there is no product, when there is no service, when there is no value. Like I get $1,000 from you, and you don't actually get anything, and I get some money,
it's
and
like Ponzi,
someone else gets
Charles
it. Yeah. And so it's just a lack of awareness, and so the companies that do the best provide value and can stand on their own legs without just recruiting. People actually want the product. Like I'm not going to, but if I showed you my pantry, I have 10 different companies that we buy from because we like their products. Yeah. And sometimes it's a drink or omega-3s or whatever. And so they have good products, or they have a good service. Like sometimes it's save money on a travel membership or things like that. And so as long as there's a good product or service, then you don't have to worry. If you're not getting anything, if you're just like, hey, if you give me $1,000 and then I'll get money and this guy will get money, then you're probably involved in a pyramid.
Yeah. I guess similar to Bernie Madoff too.
Sure.
And eventually that would all collapse.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is I'm going to throw a hypothetical out.
Okay.
And it's banking off of what you had just said.
Okay.
Purely hypothetical. So and it's based off of these companies surviving without more people coming in. So on an island, right, with a finite number of people before globalization. So no internet, where you can have people, you can reach out to people in Asia, right? But you can't do that. This is before you could do that. No internet. How does the company sustain itself and its members?
How would any company? So that's not just a network marketing question. It would be, if I'm on the island and there's 27 people on there, how do I treat them? And so it'd be smarter, because your question applies to any business. How would Nokia, or how would Walmart, or how would a gas station, or how would anybody?
That's right.
And so it'd actually be smarter in that context to think like a church. So let's say that there's 10 competing churches, and which one makes people feel better? That's the answer, is how do you make people feel regardless of their level of desire or level of result? And so that culture of treating people well, making them feel important. That's the X factor of who survives and who not, whether it's globalized or not. And so your scenario would apply to anybody. I mean, you only have so many people, you can only do so much,
right.
but you can make who you do have available to you feel good, and they're going to stick around. They're going to stay, they're going to hang out at the barbecues. They're going to come to the pool parties. They're going to, feel better about that. And if you have a product or service that's serving them, then, they're going to stay on that too.
Right. Okay.
But it's no different for any business.
Of course. Why is there such a negative connotation with MLMs and network marketing?
Because it's low risk, because there's such a low barrier to entry that anybody, there is no requirement for education. So I could go out there and say, hey, you're going to be rich. Just do this and tell your friends and let's rock and roll. So I can make any kind of claims that I want without, any kind of overseeing regulation, unlike a Series 7 license or, being in insurance or whatever, where you have to really guard, what you say because you have regulations against you. And so any Joe Schmo can come in and make any kind of crazy promise to anybody that they want. And that's what usually gets exemplified. That's what usually is, people shine a light on. When I would recruit people, if they said, how soon am I financially free? I'd say, what if it took you 10 years? Will you be financially free in 10 years? And hardly anyone says yes to that. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, what if it took you 10 years? Seriously. Like, do you have a hedge fund coming? Do you have a big inheritance coming? Do you have some kind of residual income that kicks off 10 years from now? Or are you going to be in roughly the same spot, maybe a little better, maybe a little worse? So what if it took you 10 years? Mm. Because I didn't care about the transaction. I didn't care about getting you to buy a little rinky-dink $1,000 thing or whatever. I wanted you to have a clear expectation to be here 30 years from now. And so it's all about expectations. If you're telling someone that they're going to get rich easily, you may get their dollars and you may get a little sign-up bonus, big deal, but they're going to hate you for lying to them. And that unfortunately happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. If you have, say, 223 people distributing under you, do you yourself have to sell anything?
I mean, that's going to vary by the company. There's different companies that have different, like personal volume, and that's going to vary. The answer is no, you don't have to sell anything. And I'm not aware of any companies that force you to sell a certain amount, unless maybe there might be, like, usually it's more not negative, but positive. So if you sell a certain amount, you may get an additional incentive, versus, hey, if you don't sell anything personally, but you got people underneath you moving volume, then you'll be compensated.
Right. What type of person, if you were to define the archetype, and it's not an end-all be-all, of course, but type of person do these companies, MLM companies, attract?
I mean, who do well, or like just anyone?
Just in general, like who joins these companies?
I mean, that varies.
Yeah.
That varies greatly. There's a lot of people, not too long ago, the word entrepreneur was not a popular word.
No.
Entrepreneur was like, oh, you're between jobs. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you bounce back. But when when Shark Tank came out, it became more mass media. And so more of the people that had never thought about, anything other than a job, I guess, they're like, wow, that's kind of cool. Someone's actually chasing their dreams and stuff. But most people don't have enough money to have an invention or start making almond butter cookies in their basement or trademark attorneys or get on Shark Tank or any of these kind of things. And so network marketing is a great option for that, in that you can, we have clients we have one client right now that, he's been making $250,000 a month every month for 14 years and has 700,000 people in his organization. Most entrepreneurs that are too cool for network marketing would kill for that residual income. They would do anything, but not network marketing, right? Mm-hmm. And so it just depends. You'll get people that are lottery seekers that will never make money in network marketing consistently because they're looking for the easy way, and they're going broke, getting rich, trying to get rich quick. So they'll jump from different idea, affiliate marketing, network marketing, all these different things, and never make real money. Yeah. Or you'll have people that say, you know what, I get it that this is a business. I need to show up and treat it like a business and be consistent, and they will make money. You don't always know how long. One of our friends, and she's in our Rank Makers group, is Amy Murphy. Her first 17 years in network marketing, she made $3,000 total, which means she probably spent about $10,000, not in profit. She's now $1 million earner. Now, most people would not have the, we'll say, wherewithal to last 17 years to become $1 million earner. Most people would have quit at month 3. Mm-hmm. And so it just depends on the person. In the US, there's 750,000 Uber drivers that make an average of $343 a month. I think most of those people, if they just understood network marketing, would rather stay at home, use social media, and make more than $340 a month without putting strangers in their car late at night or early in the morning. But that's the situation. People can understand it. I drive. I don't get residual income. I have to show up each month and every single day to make a little bit more money. It'll never be 6 figures, but at least I'll make some money. And they do it, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool, right? It's cool that it's an option, but it'll just you are unable to become financially free through the gig economy.
Mm-hmm. Are we to consider network marketers entrepreneurs?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with profit and loss. You're dealing with making a commitment. It is not free to join. If someone wants free, they should go get a job. And they'll provide you with a hat and coat and whatever else you need. And that's not to bash jobs. I'm not a job basher. If you love what you do, then that's awesome. If you don't love what you do, then I would suggest looking otherwise. And so absolutely, they're entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. They have to. An entrepreneur is someone who finds a need and fills it at a profit. And that's what network marketing helped them to do. So the person that may not have the invention ideas for Shark Tank or the capital to start their, some other business, they can take the idea of a network marketing company, start there, learn what they would need to learn in any business, which is communication, sales, working with people, understanding, marketing, sales, and go make money with that company without a big idea or without a big amount of capital.
Yeah. Is the turnover in these companies high?
I mean, me personally, I think it's about the same as any entrepreneur. And so it all comes down to expectations. If I tell someone that they're going to be rich next month, then they set a disappointment date. And so, okay, day 31, I should be disappointed because I'm not rich. And so a lot of it comes down to expectations. And if you can manage the expectations and tell them that, hey, it's not easy, but it's worth it. And you can then have a culture that makes people feel good whether they're making money or not. Because there's a lot of people that get major value from network marketing that aren't making a ton of money, but they love being in an uplifting community and feeling better about their journey and meeting people and having new relationships. And so it just depends on those two things. What are the expectations when people enter your company, and what's the culture if they're not making money? Because some leaders lead like sales managers. And so if you're not making money, they're barking down your throat and calling you a loser or making you feel like they're a disappointment. And so those leaders usually have a very massive turnover ratio.
Yeah. Now this all sounds like great. Okay. Like I love everything we've been talking about. But and I don't know that I believe this, but according to the FTC, 39% of businesses, like regular businesses, are profitable, whereas 1% of multi-level marketing participants profit. Mm. Is that inaccurate?
I think the FTC one is inaccurate, yes.
Do you know what FTC one I'm talking about?
I don't. I mean, I know what FTC is, but I don't believe 39% of businesses are profitable. Mm-hmm. And where that may be coming from is not everyone claiming that they're a business, but there's a lot of people that are attempting to make money in other ways that maybe you're making it cash or whatever else. I think 39% is a little high. 1% depending on how they calculated it. So if they're including customers that have no way of making an income, then I wouldn't say it's that far off.
Right.
As far as how many businesses are actually profitable, I would say 39% is a pretty high guess. And so I would suggest people, you look at risk reward, right? You win a Domino's franchise, it's $250,000, and they tell you in their manual it's a 10-year return on investment. And so if you could buy into something for $250,000 and in 5 years get more, it would be a way better investment, right? You're not investing $250,000 for network marketing, usually $1,000, $500.
Yeah. So this is something else from the Federal Trade Commission, and this is just one company. Again, I didn't do the study. It's not verifiable by me. But the average net income after subtracting expenses from the 200 top Amway distributors in Wisconsin was approximately negative $900. Okay. Yeah. Is that like how?
What an odd study.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's just, I found it.
That's a very odd study. Yeah. 200 top earners in Wisconsin. What about Rhode Island? What about when someone's looking, I could talk podcasters, right? So most podcasters don't make any money. Period. Right, yeah. They work very hard.
That's right.
They got awesome equipment. They do lots of videos. They don't make money. If I don't know the percentage, and I wouldn't condone a study to say, let's find out which podcasters really suck at making money, right? I wouldn't do that. And so if someone's looking to, and I'll give some advice for network marketers here because this will help them out.
Yes, please.
So if I talk to somebody and they were super skeptical and here's what's wrong with network marketing, I'd say, cool, it's not fit for you. Awesome. Rock on. I didn't spend a lot of time convincing, defending, or trying, no, you don't understand, right? I was just cool, not for you, no worries. There are so many people out there looking for the benefits of network marketing. They're looking for financial freedom. They're looking for a better product. They're looking for a better service. They're looking for a better community to hang around, that it will always have a place. There are a lot of people in that company you mentioned that make millions and millions of dollars. So there's what's possible, right? There's the possibility of making a lot of money. And then there's the probability that people won't do the work, or their customers or whatever, and not making any money.
Yeah.
And so, in my job, I'd work my way up to a pretty good salary in the corporate world. There was no place in the corporate job for me to show up less and make more. And so there was no possibility of me being financially free from that job.
Yeah.
And so, that's one thing, to consider. When you're starting a business, there's possibility and there's probability.
Yeah. Is it a misconception that the top level earners are profiting at the expense of the lower level part-timers?
That'd be true if there was a difference in cost. So if the person just getting started was, paying some crazy amount to, that was different than how other people bought, for it to flow up, then that would not be very cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's paying the same amount. So if if I wanted to become your customer in your network marketing, I would pay the same amount whether I'm 50 generations from you or direct with you, or if I want to buy it myself. And so the compensation plan is created so that it allows the payment out of what is being charged, not add to. And so, there are, some industries where a percentage is added to take care of the salesperson. That's not in network marketing. Whether you agree with it or not, it's not in network marketing.
Yeah. There's this graph here, or this chart, that this is what Nu Skin provides.
Okay.
They're, again, just a company, just one company, one.
Sure.
Right. This is what they provide as who makes what level,
sure,
at what you make, what kind of money.
Totally.
Right. But then when you dig deeper into the data, this is the bolded stuff here is what they don't provide. And so it turns out that it looks like here, 85.89% or 65,027 distributors make $0.
Mm-hmm.
But 0.15%, which is 114 people, make $512,000 per year. Is this accurate? Like, why is there such a disparity in like the levels of income?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just education. And so I always use, like, I actually like these charts, and I like when people pull them out. So there are, in that right there, you don't know what percentage of those people are customers that love the product and have been there forever. Nu Skin is a very large company that does, very well with selling volumes of stuff. And, similar to like, how many people at Walmart make over $1 million a year? There's a percentage. It's the people that work their tail off to get to the top. Yeah. And it's the same situation here. Right. The difference is there is no option, even at a company like Walmart, to make that kind of residual income. And so there's what's possible, there's what's probable, and there's customers in there as well. Yeah. And so most people don't have the opportunity to make hundreds of thousands of dollars residually, whether they work or not. Mm-hmm. They just don't have that. They don't have the money for car washes or ATM machines or apartment buildings or put humongous amounts of capital into a bank account and earn interest. Most people do not have that possibility. And network marketing allows them to have that possibility. And so, quick question, in any business, is it likely that a real high percentage of people will do a lot of work? The answer is no. It just isn't. That's why more people in any company is at the lower salary levels versus the higher salary levels, whether it's entrepreneur or not. Now you take that and say, okay, entrepreneur, totally optional. Most people treat it like a hobby. Is it likely that people are just going to have the amazing work ethic of a huge earner? Or is it more likely that they're going to treat it like a hobby and kind of not do anything or just be a customer? It's way more likely. Yeah. And so there is no company, network marketing or not, where a higher percentage is big earners. None. Right. How many podcasters make $1 million a year? There's a handful.
Yeah, there's a handful.
No doubt. Yeah. But out of
JLD, we know JLD.
I know John. JLD, good buddy. Friend, so like, okay, how many podcasters are there? Does that make it a scam? How many people go to Pee Wee League football that don't end up in the NFL? Is it a scam? Or did they just not work hard enough or have the level of desire? It may not be work, because sometimes it's desire. Some people enter network marketing because they want mom care, not daycare, not to make millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when they hit that, hey, now I'm making $500 a month, sweet, that's what I wanted. And so you can't measure that on numbers. But what I would suggest people look at what's possible. If you're looking like statistically, like what statistically am I guaranteed to make? Business isn't for you. No business, not network marketing. No business is for you. If you're looking at what statistically am I guaranteed, then you're just not cut out for business. Yeah. It's what is possible. And it's possible. Podcaster, you could be a $100 million podcaster. I don't know if there is, but you could be. Why not? You could have an escalation path that led to a $100,000 a year mastermind and all these different things. You could certainly do that. Yeah. How many do it? Not many.
Right. So last one with the grass here.
Keep them coming, man. I don't care. I don't care, man. It doesn't bother me.
Because like it's the allure is like it's a really great idea. I was listening to your friend Eric Worre, or Eric Worre. Worre. Okay, so it's like it's a great opportunity. You could be making a lot of money with zero infrastructure.
Very little, yeah.
Right. So
very little.
So if this works, it's like great, Yeah, it is. And as he says, a better way. Yeah. So, but here's a bunch of different companies like Amway, Herbalife, Isagenix, Melaleuca, and the level at which net profits are possible. Okay. And then the percentage of active participants who are at the level where profits are possible. So like, for example, in Amway, 0.6% of people are at the platinum level, which is where net profits are possible. Okay. Melaleuca, say, Director 3 and Director 4 is where net profits are possible, but only 2.9% of active participants are at that level. And then another one, so like Herbalife is a little bit better. You have to be on the world team, that's where net profits are possible, but only 5.71% of people are there. So when you get down to it, so say for Amway, it's saying here, according to the FTC, that 1 in 1,667 people profit. 1 in 476 for Isagenix profit. What is wrong here? Is this a misrepresentation as well?
I've never said anything was a misrepresentation necessarily.
Sorry.
So I would ask, do we think that one out of, let's say 2,000, do we think that 1 out of 2,000 bloggers are profitable? Do we think that 1 out of 2,000 podcasters are profitable?
Yeah.
I would say no.
No.
Now here's the difference. Here's the difference. Here's the difference though. Here's the difference. It's very important.
Yeah.
Why is someone blogging or podcasting? They could be enjoying it. Are they receiving a product? They're not receiving a product. Are they receiving a community? Like, are they around people that uplift them and coach them and train them and love on them? Are they able to go to amazing conventions and things like that? They could, outside of their little niche, but the only difference here is these guys, if they are customers, are getting value, whether they're making money or not, and I just don't think it's any different. Now, if you're someone, like, if someone's telling you, just hammering how easy it is to make money in network marketing, that's not the way to do it. Just like it's not right to say it's easy to make money in podcasting. You got to work.
Yeah.
It's not easy to make it as a video marketer, as a blogger, as a YouTuber, as any of these guys. Most of them don't make money. And they're doing it, most I would think are doing it for the pursuit of money. That's not a percentage on here. Like, the FTC didn't say, did you join this to make money or did you just get it to get the product? They don't have those statistics because that would take some serious time.
Right.
Although I would think that, I guess some people just enjoy blogging or just enjoy podcasting, but I would think more of them did it to make money. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a mom blog and they don't really care if they make money or not. Right. But I just don't see it as any different. The only difference is a lot of them are guaranteed getting some kind of benefits from the product or service, or else they quit and then they're not a number on there.
Absolutely. So if less than 1% profit, not my numbers, and apparently 95% or more quit in 10 years across the entire MLM industry, and 39% of businesses are profitable. Again, that number might be a little high. They go on to say 30% break even and 30% lose money of businesses. And since 64.2% of businesses fail within a 10-year period. This is according to the Small Business Administration. Why should you be, starting an MLM versus, like, why not just start a business,
If you're a stats-driven person and you're looking for some kind of guarantee, no business is going to work for you. And I'm not one to say, hey, MLM's the only business or it's the perfect business for everybody. Yeah. If you crave acceptance, approval, or agreement, I would argue that network marketing isn't for you. I would say that if you're easily persuaded by people with opinions, then business overall is going to be tough. Network marketing will probably be impossible for you, because if you're not tough, and this is why, like, this kind of thing doesn't bother me. I've dealt with this kind of thing so many times. I'm just bulletproof to this kind of stuff. But you have to have a mastery of posture to be like this. No one's like, hey, did you know that podcasters really suck? Or, most podcasters don't make money, which is true. Yeah, it is true. But no one's saying that to you. So you don't have to be that tough. Yeah. And I'm not saying you're not. I'm not saying, I don't know you that well. But you have to be tough in network marketing. Most people aren't. Now, the allure is that it's cheaper than your equipment for podcasting. It's cheaper than any other business, at least that I can think of. Yeah. I mean, even starting a blog and getting funnels and opt-ins and all that stuff. Yes. Now you're at about the same monthly income.
It's tough.
Without getting a product that you could drink or mix up or use or whatever. And so cost-wise, business is almost always going to be more expensive for you. Percentage-wise, I think it's about the same. Yeah. And so it's, okay, if I'm looking at risk and overhead, which one makes sense to me? But toughness does factor in. If you're not tough, business is going to be really a struggle. If you're not tough, you can't make it in network marketing. Yeah. And so, like, this is why, like, a lot of the speakers that like speak for network marketing, they're always like, man, that was a great crowd. And they're tough, man. People that stick it out, they're tough because you can pull up all the little stats and, and attack them and all that kind of stuff. And they're either tough or they crumble like a cookie. And that's how most people are. Most people, if their aunt doesn't accept what they're doing business-wise, then they crumble. Yeah. And they, the strong wind blows them away.
Yeah. Now, so the concern that that pulls on my heart, because this is, for someone who in high school I had one friend, and now I've worked over years to build and nurture so many different relationships in so many different areas, and it's really my whole life. Relationships are everything for me. But in network marketing, do you have to necessarily, when you're starting out, do you have to sell to your friends and family and risk your social capital, risk your your friends, losing your friends perhaps?
You don't have
cold shoulder.
You don't have to. You definitely don't have to sell them. There are people that just use social media or just use cold market strategies if they want. We suggest that you at least ask your family if they're open, but don't be addicted to the outcome. And so just like you've probably told family and friends about your podcast, and some listened, some didn't. Yeah, right. You aren't mad because how dare you not listen, right?
That's a good point.
You're like, whatever. I mean, that's how we teach network marketers. So at least see if someone's open. Hey, are you open? Take a look at what I'm doing. If not, no big deal. Mm-hmm. And so trying to convince or sell or defend or turn people around or whatever, that's just not energetically pleasing. It's just just go talk to more people.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to talk to friends and family members if you don't want to. We suggest it, but just without an addiction to the outcome. Some are going to say no. And depending on your, I don't want to say social economic does play a role. If you're in a tougher financial situation, your family is and friends and things like that, then there's more skepticism. The higher up you go the social economic chain, the more open-minded people seem to be. And so, we had lots of doctors, attorneys, we had lots of very prominent people that like network marketing because they look at it for the model, not for the stigma. And so, you don't have to sell anybody, just don't be addicted to the outcome. Whether you help them or in the past or whatever. If they're open to it, great. If they're not, move on.
Yeah. So we talk about toughness, showing up every single day. What are some of the other skills that network marketers or any business person needs to be successful and rise?
Yeah, it's really the same. No matter what business you're in the business of marketing. So you're not a podcaster, you're a marketer. You're not a network marketer, you're a marketer. You're not a plumber, you're a marketer. You're not an air conditioning guy, you're a marketer. Because you can be really, really skilled at whatever it is that you're doing, but if no one knows what you're doing, then you're not going to do business and you're not going to stay in business. And so understanding marketing, leading with value, which you do with your podcast, of having great value, people get attracted to that, maybe want to do business with you or buy a book or whatever, and which is great. More business owners need to understand that, more network marketers need to understand that. And, sales, communication, relationships, all of those are things that you need for pretty much any business. Now, not necessarily for a job. Engineers can be in the background, not talk to anyone, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. In business, you're going to have to learn communication. You're going to have to learn sales, marketing, probably social media. And those are things that you should learn for network marketing. You should learn for any business.
Yeah, communication is so important. I, for one, when I didn't have friends in high school, and when I didn't even want to talk to people, I made it a game not to talk to people so I could get home and feel sorry for myself. But then when I wanted to talk to people in college time, I was like, I don't know how. and still was unfulfilled at the end of the day. And so I doubled down. I didn't quit and roll over and cry and just stay in and optimize.
Good for you.
I fought it with every fiber of my being. I don't have strong social genes either. Yeah. Learning, reading every book on communication, reading listening to all the interviews of these people like Jordan Harbinger, Vanessa Van Edwards, Mark Bowden, Chase Hughes, and now fast forward, I've interviewed them.
It's awesome.
Or Jordan Harbinger is coming soon, and Vanessa's my real social superhero, and
nice.
interviewing her in 2 weeks. But Or actually, when this comes out, I'll have done that. But communication has been the biggest, most influential factor in my life. Like learning that has just changed everything.
Yeah.
Like what sort of resources do you recommend to learn effective communication?
I mean, I like Bob Berg. His Endless Referrals book really helped me with real estate. The classics, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Carnegie is great.
It's got to be required reading.
It's really good. I grew up in an abused home and then drug abuse all throughout high school and didn't finish high school on time, never finished college. And so I had some weird social stuff going on too. And I just focused on getting better, focus on improving and focus on getting better, and didn't have a lot of role models personally to attach to that kind of thing. But so mainly did it through audiobooks and books.
So you don't have a college degree?
No.
So
I went there to get over my fear of speaking, but then I did not finish.
So you don't need a college degree to be successful?
You don't. I mean, I like what you said in that if college helps you with communication, then it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
And so, I'm certainly not a basher of degrees, but there are way more practical things that you could do than get a degree. But not that they're bad.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, when you were growing up, what was your dream job? I wanted to be a pilot. Yeah.
Dream job. I don't know if I had that. I was a entrepreneur fairly early. 6th grade, I was moving 90 to 100 airheads a day in middle school.
Really? Yeah. I was moving 60 to 100 air.
big brown bag, and I was.
What were you selling? How much were you selling for?
So I got them for 10 cents each. I was selling them for $0.25, and
Nice.
and so I just always had that kind of. My dad wasn't in sales. My mom wasn't in sales. I don't know anyone in my family who was in sales, but I just always had that. I like sales. I like that kind of thing. And so I don't know. I don't know if I had a dream job, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Do you have then like a dream career path for your son? Or do you have more than one son?
I have I have 2 sons and another one on the way.
Wow, really?
In August,
congrats.
and
Nice.
And a 3.5-year-old daughter. So about to be father of 4, and so I want them to be happy, and so whatever that looks like. If they end up being entrepreneurs, awesome. If they end up being engineers, awesome. If they end up being whatever. My currently youngest son is studying sports management and wants to do something with sports, which he loves that. So all about it. So whatever they want to do that makes them happy. I'm not forcing my, what I want for them on them.
So what are you, we're talking a lot about work and putting in the work, right?
That's right.
What do you do for fun, man?
Mainly play My Little Ponies with my daughter.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
at least an hour a day. My Little Pony time. Kayak. I got one of those
Love that.
pedal kayaks, and so I kayak every single day. We're on a.
So you don't have to you don't have the oar?
We have oars if you need them, but we just don't use them.
Try to pedal one.
It's amazing. Once you pedal, you'll never paddle. We're on a 760-acre lake here, and so I go kayaking every single day. Sometimes with my wife, sometimes with my son.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Maybe we'll be neighbors one day. It's my dream to live in here. Actually, within 5 years, we'll be neighbors. I promise.
Yeah.
you.
11 years ago, I came to this community, and I wanted to live here. And so it took some time, but got in here. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so where were you living? You were in the area, right? You've been in this area for a long time.
Yeah.
Where were you living before?
I've lived in quite a few places.
Yeah.
When I went through foreclosure, that was in Cypress Preserve, South Fort Myers, and then kind of rented some places for a while. And then I was in West Bay. My wife and I were in West Bay for a few years.
Awesome. So rapid fire around here. I'm going to say a word, and you're going to say the first thing.
Okay.
That
All
comes
right.
to mind.
Psychological test here.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
I do it with everyone. It is. Some of the answers are interesting.
Yeah.
because like it's funny. Someone heard Kevin Rudolph. I said success, and Kevin goes money, and then people were like telling me like one person said, I was shocked that he thinks success is all money. I was like, that's not indicative of him. It's just the first thing that came to mind.
Well, it's their translation too. Like I can say money and I think impact. So money and impact is interchangeable to me.
Nice.
But to them, it's probably not.
Yeah. So let's say growth.
I'm failing on the first one. Growth, constant. I don't know. That's the first word that came to mind. Constant.
Success.
Impact.
Marketing.
Sales.
Love.
Family.
Relationships.
Family.
Wealth.
Impact.
And Ray Higdon.
Getting better. I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know what to tell you.
Getting better. All right. So Ray, I have to acknowledge you for, everything that you're doing and the message that you're sharing and telling people, teaching people how to go about network marketing and prospecting and recruiting the right way, right? Instead of just being, going for the cold asks, but teaching that delicate balance that we talked about earlier.
Right.
There's a delicate balance. Because I see everything that you put out, and you've grown a large social following, many people following you, and I thank you for being a good sport.
Sure.
Because listen, I asked the tough questions. I have to ask the tough questions.
That's okay.
And you answered them, so you're the man.
Cool. All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. My final question.
Yeah. Okay.
If you could teach a course at a university, a course of your creation or otherwise, what would it be?
I would say how to make a positive impact. And that doesn't necessarily mean make lots of money. We're on the board of a few different charities and we've been blessed. One thing that we teach is Wealth Wednesday, which is do a random act of kindness for a stranger involved in a financial exchange. And so we have we actually track it, between 700 and 850 people a week do some kind of random act of kindness every Wednesday all around the world. And so how to make a positive impact no matter where you are, even if you're dead broke, even if you're not in a great neighborhood or whatever. But I would say that more people need to hear that.
Ray Higdon, you are the man. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.